Terry Burgen from Speakmark, and today I'm speaking to Arnie Wilson from New Zealand. How are you, Arnie?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, Terry.
Um,
Lovely to see you again.
yeah, you too, you too. And Arnie is a keynote speaker, and she has quite a unique topic, which is called leadership burnout. Arnie, what is leadership burnout, and how is it affecting Australian business?
Leadership burnout is a hot topic at the moment, actually. I've chosen leadership because the brain research just recently has shown us that we have very, very different brains, chemical makeup, physical makeup. And so specifically, leaders are hardwired a certain way. And so when we crash, we really do crash. And so my topic is trying to help those who are go-getters, who are high performers naturally, who are always overachievers, who take on the world, and guiding them to become hot property, become better versions of themselves rather than recovering and trying to get them off that road to that burnout cliff. So it's an exciting topic, and it's something that I'm really passionate about, and I'm trying to make it a little bit sexy in comparison to the boring old nutters that are out there doing it as well.
So, how common is leadership burnout globally?
Terry, it's a frightening statistic that's growing year on year exponentially. It's something that breaks my heart. Last year alone, Australia spent over $27 billion just on wellness programs, and yet the leadership burnout rates are skyrocketing. And it's surely it's to do with the amount of data that we're actually having to compute and having to take and handle and manage these days in comparison to what we did 4 years ago, 8 years ago, 20 years ago. There's nothing like it, and we're just getting worse and worse with less resources. And you walk into any organisation these days, and the expectations are just outrageous for a single person to be able to handle, and yet there is that whole judgment of we need to be the best at what we are. There is the tall poppy syndrome, especially across Australasia, and we don't get a lot of help, and we have to be very quiet about how we're struggling, and so that impacts not only our businesses but also when we take it home into our family lives as well. So you can imagine the leaders that I work with, the executives and the managers, they're people who are very strong people, and yet they're moving exponentially to that level of burnout year on year, and it's crushing. It's absolutely crushing.
So, is it a subject or a challenge or a problem within business that is actually being looked after? It's being looked into. Are they addressing the problem, business in globally, or is it just something that's kind of swept underneath the carpet and she'll be right, mate?
Look, I think that there was a real movement back in the late 90s and early 2000s for the wellness craze, right, the mindful movement. And when that came about, it was a great push. So the likes of Google, obviously, with their systems that they've now got in place, and a lot of big organizations plugged huge amounts of money into these fantastic wellness programs, or the lunchtime meditations or the lunchtime masseuses that would come around. And it really did showcase the fact that, yes, we understand that our workers and our managers are a little bit stressed out there, or magnificently stressed. But the sad thing is, and the reality of it is that there's certain levels within an organisation, an enterprise, that just don't have the time in order to partake in any of these wellness programs. So that's what I was saying before, that yes, we're spending all this amazing amount of money on wellness, but our staff attrition rates are still skyrocketing, and our leadership burnout is still going up. And the sad reality is it's purely that, number one, like myself, I didn't have time, nor did I actually want to partake in any of the wellness programs because of the way that my brain was hardwired. Number three, we don't actually want to own up and say, well, we would love to be part of your wellness program. We feel as if we need to be that stoic, strong person who doesn't need it. You guys do it, we won't. And so it just becomes a bigger problem. So in reality, large corporations are flooding the organisations with money to help, and there are a lot of options out there. It's not getting through because we're not speaking the right speech, we're not tackling the problem head on, and we're also not giving our managers and our leaders the fast and fun and furious brain hacks that are so simple. We're giving them you need to meditate for 10 minutes or 15 minutes. And for somebody like me, that was really difficult. So, yes, it is absolutely a hot topic and a really burning problem at the moment that we're trying very well to try to sort out, but we're just not hitting the nail.
So, looking at your background, right, you were a high flyer, doing a million things, managing multiple projects, and doing a zillion things at once at a very high level. Now, based on your experience, Arnie, is it easy to mask or hide the fact that you're actually going through something that is quite damaging and hurtful, not only to you but also to the business in terms of productivity and that replacement factor if you do get ill?
So it's a really interesting question. My own personal experience is that I suffered my first chronic burnout at the age of 29 when I was a manager of 14 direct reports and I was working 70-hour weeks. I loved my job and I loved the company that I worked for. So at that time, I actually did not realize that stress was impacting me. So I was prancing around, being everywhere to everyone and really overachieving and doing the best job that I possibly could, but didn't realize what effect that was actually happening on my brain chemistry at the time and invariably my health. And then 3 years later, after I thought that I had it nailed, I took up yoga and went for slow walks on the beach. It happened again. So this time I was a little bit shocked about that. From my own experience, it doesn't actually matter what type of wellness or mindful practices you put in. If you don't understand how your brain is made up, then you will end up going through the same thing again and again and again. So at the time, I ended up getting stress-related cancer twice in my career. And nobody knew how stressed I was because I'm a fantastic person for putting a big smile on my face. I used to be called the Energizer Bunny or Roadrunner around my office, and I just got shit done, excuse the expression. But it's part of our personalities. It becomes a habitual program to overachieve. But the problem is that the more you overachieve, it's like an addiction because your brain starts to wear off the impacts of the adrenaline spikes that you're getting every time that you achieve. And so slowly, your brain starts to shut down. And so you take on bigger and more audacious goals in order to get the same sort of reward. And that's when all the problems exist. So it's very easy for me now to walk into a boardroom and be able to tell which managers and which executives are verging on the edge of burnout because I have been there myself. But amongst their peers, very difficult to tell.
Arnie, with regards to your keynotes and your workshops, here we have a challenge that all businesses face. Not much of a percentage of the businesses are probably really having a good look at this problem. I mean, I know from my own experience within the speaking industry that it's not really a subject that's being spoken about at a lot of events around Australia particularly, and for that matter, the USA. So given that, how, if you went into an organisation, either by the keynote or by your workshops, which I believe are half-day and full-day or two-day workshops, it depends on what the client's looking for, it could be an ongoing program, what types of things are you likely to take to that organisation to improve the likelihood of leadership burnout dropping considerably?
So the interesting thing is that if a company isn't opening their eyes to the fact that there might be a leadership burnout issue going on there, it's not a problem because a lot of the brain hack techniques and the knowledge that I partake are translatable across the entire organization into so many different realms. So it doesn't just have to be, hey, you guys are stressed, I can see that, you need my help. And not that at all. It's actually that the moment that we learn a little bit more about our brain, we can open up old dormant pathways that give us insights into new creative ways to solve old issues, old problems. We build our camaraderie because we're opening up, the limbic resonance pathways in our brain, which makes us more likable and more easily able to delegate to our peers and also people in our workforce. So there's so many other benefits. The staff attrition starts going down because you start to get raving fans, because everybody starts to feel a lot more energized because of the brain hack techniques that they're all utilizing. Some of the executives come up to me after I've worked with them and say how it's impacted their family life. So just that real energy and change in the way that they perceive their family life, and how they're taking their stress home with them have made a huge difference. So it really resonates across an entire organisation. It increases productivity. It increases the raving fans and people wanting to stay for longer in an organisation. And, of course, that moulds into a high-performing team. So my biggest mandate is that I'm not telling leaders to slow down at all. I'm not telling them to become zen and go on holiday and take a 6-month break. I'm actually teaching managers and leaders and high performers how to excel by opening their brain, by understanding it a lot more and giving themselves really easy ways to walk into a meeting or into a boardroom. So hugely translatable across an organisation, and my biggest vision is just that every person on the planet understands how their brain works, how they differ from somebody else, and then to be able to just use a 2-second exercise that takes them into a new way of thinking, or opens creativity, etc.
So I've read some of your work, obviously, and getting to know you as a speaker, and what I've found is it's quite the opposite of what you would think with regards to a fix or I guess some tools that you would give people, a little bit different than you would think for leadership burnout. Could you explain that?
So I'm a fanatic about neuroscience. Let's put it out there. I'm a geek. So everything that I do has to be fun. And that's my big motto, is that I spent 23 years sitting in audiences, listening to other speakers drone on or even motivate me, but nothing ever quite got through. And so as a speaker now, I use my experience of sitting there, and I want somebody to leave my audiences and have had an enormous amount of information where they just have aha moments and pop, but also have laughed hysterically, so that the emotion and the information are both part of that engagement, so that when they leave, they remember what it is that I'm actually teaching them. So, there are other stress mastery speakers out there, and then there's leadership, and I'm neither. I've always thought that there's a gap, where there's this gap that we're not teaching leaders, and that is their brains are hardwired differently. Let's give the leaders what it is that they desire. We've got such a short time with them. We need to be nailing it on the head. We need to be using bullet points, but hard and fast, and oh my gosh, this so makes sense, so that when they do leave there, that something pops. It's so important. So, my motto is to walk in with a smile on my face and walk out with a smile on my face.
Arnie, thank you very much for talking with us today. Really good to hear who you are, what you do, and I thought you explained it very well. So if anybody out there is watching, is looking for something a little bit unique for either a leadership team or a conference or event, Arnie is available. Now, Arnie, you spend your time between New Zealand, where you're based, and Australia, but you're in Australia a lot, so it's kind of like
my second home.
Yeah, second home, exactly. Okay, if anyone would like to get in touch with Arnie, you can get in touch through Speakmark by emailing terry@speakmark.com.au, and these little information bits that are going to come up here soon. Arnie, we'll see you next time.
Thanks for having me, Terry.
Bye-bye.
Bye.